the level of commitment required to be an outlier and to be elite and exceptional is something that goes beyond what I believe most people are willing to give. And this is going to be very unrelatable to a lot of people, okay? Because they'll say, well, I believe in moderation and I believe in balance. And that's absolutely fine. And if you are living the life that you want and you are satisfied and you are achieving all the things you want to achieve and you're happy, I mean, look, I'm not going to knock that. I think that's wonderful. But usually what is required to hit the most elite levels of success is a full all-in commitment. And you see this with elite athletes. They dedicate their lives to what it is that they're doing. Now, some people will say that is unreasonable. Well, if you were to look at the top players in any sports league, they're not practicing a couple hours a day. They practice 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, another 3 hours in the evening. They dedicate their lives to what it is that they're doing, and that is how they become the elite. And they do that for certain seasons of their life. I mean, quite literally. I mean, you have seasons in sports and you have seasons in our lives. That doesn't mean it's a lifetime, but sometimes we have to make certain compromises or trade-offs to achieve the things that we want to achieve. This doesn't mean you're going to be an absent father or mother or you're just completely absent in your life, but you may have to be for a certain period of time based on what the mission requires. And we were fortunate in that we made this upfront commitment early on before we had kids, which has made it much simpler because now that we have kids, we can be around them all the time. We can spend a lot of time with them. But if we were in the early building phase of building the organization with, a 4-year-old and with a 2-year-old, I would have immense guilt. It would be incredibly difficult. I mean, it's like, would we ever be at gymnastics or at karate? Probably not, because it was 24/7, 365 into the business, but we front-loaded that so that we could then create the type of environment, we can build an organization that can be more self-managing, that can have more capacity, more support, more help to not require us day in and day out to allow us that freedom, which I think is the goal of really any entrepreneur. But if you don't make that commitment and if you don't ever create those things, well, then you're in the middle, which I think is the worst place to be, because it's like you don't have the freedom. And then at the same time, like, you are dissatisfied too. So meaning that you can't spend your time how you want to spend your time. But then at the same time, if you're in the middle, you're not making progress in the way that is necessary to then create that freedom. So you're just stuck. You're not really there for your family. You're kind of there, but you're not fully present. And then your organization, you're also not all in. The growth of the organization stalled as well. So it's like you're in no man's land, which is, you gotta pick at some point. It doesn't have to be forever, but that is, I think, a necessary aspect of success. I don't want to sugarcoat it. If someone's figured out a way 9 to 5 to do this 40 hours a week and they're able to achieve everything they set out to achieve, they've achieved entrepreneurial freedom, all their team members have incredible growth opportunity, they've got long-term career paths, you're dominating your market, you're achieving all measures of success that are important to you, then wonderful. You've figured it out. Send me a letter. I would love to know how you did it. Okay? But if that's not the case, then you either have to accept the outcomes from the efforts that you're putting in, or, just don't complain. Because usually what happens is, like, people have their ambitions, but their efforts and their actions don't match those ambitions. So meaning that they have ambitions of, they want to live in X type of house, they want to be able to spend their time this way, they want to be able to be with their kids, they want to be dominant in their market, and then they are waking up at like 9 a.m., they're in the office a few hours a week, and it's Friday, they're out the door at 2 o'clock, they're always taking vacations, and they wonder why they never have any money, they wonder why they're stressed out, they wonder why they're not able to make the investments that they want to make. And it's like, well, you're trying to have it all, and you can have it all, but maybe you have to almost have like a long-term mindset where things have to be also about tomorrow too, right? Not everything has to be about today. It's striking that balance between, you don't want to be miserable, but it is also understanding that, there's going to become a time where your future self is going to look back on the decisions that you're making today, and your future self will either thank you or it'll look back with regret.